This is still advertising, and this is lesson number 1, part 2, emerging trends on marketing management. And so we will be discussing in this particular video a continuation of what we have and what you have watched on lesson number 1, part 1, the nature of communications. And so in this particular video, we will be talking about emerging trends in marketing communications, which is a what I call a modern way of calling advertising marketing communication. 30 years ago, this subject is called advertising and sales promotion, although we are still calling this one today, but it would be appropriate to call it marketing communication because that is more of a all-encompassing, or probably a definition that describes the totality of what advertising is. And so we'll be talking about emerging trends in marketing communications. Now, we will begin with emphasis on accountability and measurable results. The next thing that we will be talking about is explosion of digital arena. The next one is integration of media platforms, and then shift in channel power, and then we have increase in global competition, we have increased in brand parity, and the last one will be emphasis on customer engagement. Now we will be discussing these items one by one, so you have to take into consideration by watching the entire video, and don't skip any part of the video because there might be very important things that you might learn, and if you skip it, of course, you'll not be able to hear it or probably learn about it. So we will begin with emphasis on accountability, and measurable results. Now, company leaders at this particular time emphasizes on what is the tangible outcome of the total expenses and the investment that have been poured into that particular advertising campaign, or probably in a particular marketing strategy at that particular point, how much they are spending about it, and then they want results, an actual result. Let's say, for example, on the traditional note, we will just be distributing a lot of pamphlets or a lot of catalogs and a lot of printed materials, and without even calculating exactly what are the return of investment. If you spend around what $1,000 in your printing ads, how much would it return after several periods of time? And so that's the most important thing in this trend in the modern marketing communication, because it requires that at least there will be a measurable outcome, a tangible outcome, because the company, of course, especially leaders of the company, expects that the expenses in the advertising agency will produce output. What are those output that can be produced? Well, there are several things. Probably you can count sales of marketing as an output of an advertising campaign, right? So we have sales, market share. Those are examples. We could also measure the awareness in terms of the brand identity, or customer loyalty, which is one of the most difficult thing to achieve in marketing. Customer loyalty, because in the modern time, people are less and less loyal. That's a reality, although it might sound painful or sound challenging, but that's a reality. People are becoming less and less loyal. And remember, every centavo counts. And because every centavo counts, you must be able to ensure that all of those amount of money that you poured into the campaign must translate into something that is tangible, like sales, market share, brand awareness, and customer loyalty. Customer loyalty is what I've told you, a very difficult thing to achieve, especially now that there is brand parity, which we'll be discussing later on, and other observable results. You can see that there is a trend in your company identity, right? There is awareness and other similar things, as long as there is a corresponding response and output, a feedback from your target audience about what is happening because of what you have done in your promotional activities. So emphasis in accountability and measurable result. You cannot just spend money and just leave it there without anything in return. And that is a pretty bad business strategy, because no one will start a business to get bankrupt or probably to struggle financially. So the emphasis on accountability and measurable result is a crucial element of a success of a modern company. All right. So next is the integration of digital media. Right. So we can actually go to the internet and watch videos with internet advertisements. So a digital medium, the internet, the personal computers, your laptop, your cell phones are examples of mediums for advertising and marketing communication, which is in the realm of digital media. We also have GPS functions wherein you can just search restaurants near you and it will automatically pinpoint where in that particular vicinity is that restaurant located. So that is a global positioning system functions, more especially on specific places, most probably is more useful on metropolis and cities. Right? So you can use GPS function as part of your digital media integration. Right? We have text messaging system. So in this particular sense, you will just probably at some point receive text messages. We'll just include email system here, wherein brands are continuously sending email to your email account, even though you're not opening it, because that's at some point very annoying. But at least at some point they're doing some kind of a modern type of advertising or modern type of marketing communication. And of course, we have the social media, which is one of the most basic communication tool that is in our generation today, wherein you can communicate so easily from any part of the world, from all corners of the globe, without waiting for a very long period of time. Like historically, you have to wait for months in order for your letter to arrive. No, now that's no longer the case. You just have to tap a button on your phone, automatically the message gets delivered. And then we have integration of media platforms, right? Consumers actually spend an average of 5 hours and 16 minutes in front of a screen. That includes you. In fact, you're watching this video on a screen, right? So this is already part of that 5 hours and 16 minutes in front of a screen. And that does not involve television. When combined with television, consumers watch an additional 4 hours and 31 minutes per day, right? The total becomes more than 10 hours per day, examining some kind of a screen, whatever it is, a computer, a tablet, mobile phone, or a television, or any kind of screen. Integration of media platforms is actually a means by which all possible options are already available at the disposal of the target audience, meaning your target audience already have a means to acquire several platforms at the same time and use them at the same time. This is some kind of a means of multitasking our marketing communications strategies. Each of the persons that you know probably owns a television, at the same time a computer, at the same time a laptop, at the same time a phone, and almost all of them, if not all, is connected to the internet. And so you can integrate all of the mediums from different varied perspective and different varied digital platform in order that you can communicate wherever is that customer is among those varied choices. And so we have content grazing, investigative spiderwebbing, quantum journey, social spiderwebbing. Now we will be discussing these things, right? So we have content grazing. This involves looking at two or more screens simultaneously to access a content that is not related. For instance, right? For instance, we have, watching TV and texting a friend at the same time is grazing. Now, we have to understand that our customers are actually multitasking. So they can watch a television with an advertising, they can scroll on their phone at the same time looking at another advertising. So if you are an advertising expert, right, a marketing communication expert, what you're going to do is you have to hit two birds at the same time, meaning you have to advertise on a television and advertise on a social media platform so that you can maximize the potential that your customer, your target audience, will have your advertising at their disposal. They can see your advertising anywhere else they want to look. So this is proper way of targeting because your customers will engage in content grazing. The next one is investigative spiderwebbing. This occurs when a customer pursues or investigates specific contents across multiple platforms, such as a person watching a football game and accessing status for various players on a PC or a mobile phone. So you're watching a television and here you're still looking for details about a particular thing. So this is a way of understanding that there are people who really wants to dig deeper into different information and they want to know about it, and so that's the reason why you also have to adjust into that particular kind of persons who wants to know more than just what can be seen on an instance. The next thing is the quantum journey. This is focusing on the completion of specific tasks, such as the consumer looks for a Chinese restaurant in a PC to locate one area and then obtains a customer review or consumer review of the unit and get a smartphone and finally employs a map on an app and then go to a restaurant or probably order on a restaurant online. So there are people who will use different media platforms just in order to complete a specific task. In this particular example that we have is purchasing on a restaurant online. So you just get your cell phone or probably on your laptop, and the purpose of that is for you to get a something to eat online, and so it will be delivered on your doorstep. That is a quantum journey. Next is social spiderwebbing. Social spiderwebbing is more or less one of the trending today, because when you post some kind of a video online, you'll just ask your friend, right, share it to your friend, and then let your friends watch your video. In fact, it is one of the best ways to get you organic views and organic likes and organic hits on your videos. You just have to share it to your friends who are interested with your video, and automatically they will watch your video probably at some point. Or many of your friends are not interested with your video, and so they will not watch it. So social spider webbing takes place when consumers share content about information across multiple devices, posting pictures on Facebook from a laptop and then texting friends to go check them out, as an example. So that is social spider webbing. This is also a means by which we understand how marketing communication works in the modern time. So this is another trend, a shift in channel power. If you look at our slide in your video, of course, we have retailers and manufacturers as the commanding power in the previous era of marketing communication, in the previous era of the industry. But now, we are already at Industry 4.0, wherein retailers and manufacturers don't have the actual voice in the market. It's no longer the manufacturers and the retailers that is commanding the market. Who are actually commanding the market now? These are the consumers. The consumers are actually the commanding power, right? Wherein they can dictate the collective will of the customers, and the consumers can actually dictate how the market behaves. So before, in the traditional way, it is the manufacturers that will manufacture product and then feed it to the customers. Whether or not the customers like it or don't like it, the customers doesn't have a choice. But now that's no longer the case. You know why? Because the customers are actually more powerful than the manufacturers and retailers, because they now have the power to decide among different brands. The next thing is global competition. Of course, with the new technology that we have, sales does not only occur in local stores nearby, whereby options are limited. It can be thousands of miles away from China, Europe, the United States, and anywhere else in the world, and it will be delivered at your own doorstep. So that is the trend in modern marketing communication. It does not necessarily mean that you have a store in the Philippines and all Filipinos are your only potential customers. No. If you are in India and you want to sell some kind of a product to anywhere else in the world, you can actually do it. Just like what is happening now with Amazon and Alibaba, and in Southeast Asia, Lazada, wherein there is no boundary in the delivery of goods and services. It is practically a world dominated competition, meaning you are a very small company, but you can compete with the highest and most powerful companies in the world. And it's just a matter of accessing the right platform, and that is the internet. You can compete with practically anyone, anywhere in the world, and you can practically send your product from all over the world, as long as there are people who are willing to purchase your product. And so this is what I'm talking about, brand parity. Brand parity is actually a means by which products are delivered in almost identical benefit, identical quality, right? And the quality actually offers a little bit difference, or more or less they're just the same. Only brands actually matters at this particular point, but almost everything else actually equal. And so that's the reason why price plays a very significant role in this particular situation in a modern time. Availability of that particular product or the specific promotional deals may impact purchase decision. No wonder why Chinese products are actually dominating the market. It is practically because Chinese brands are significantly more cheaper than any brands in the world. They are significantly cheaper and of the same or almost the same quality to that of a premium brand. So that's the reason why they are more often than not controlling in the market today, especially on electronics, right? Especially on electronic products. And so that's the reason why there is a decline in brand loyalty, since consumers do not perceive that one brand is superior from the other. Hence, they just easily switch. I think this is what is precisely happening in our time because there's no difference in the quality, so why would I prefer one brand over the other? And so that's the reason why the role of a marketing communications should be emphasizing brand superiority over the others, and that its brands are actually different from others. And so this is where product differentiation plays a very important role. Otherwise, when you don't have differentiation of your product, you'll go extinct. It's either you differentiate or you'll be left behind, meaning you must state in your marketing communication campaign what is your edge, what differs you from all other competitors that are available in the market. Because if you fail to establish that particular superiority or brand difference, you are just similar to everybody else. And if your price is slightly higher than your competitor, good luck to you, because for sure you will not have any of your target sales accomplished. So that is brand parity. An example of brand parity is, of course, these brands. And these brands are almost in the same spectrum of quality, right? They are almost in the same spectrum of quality. And so, why is it that this brand, Apple Corporation, the Apple iPhone, is particularly different from all other else? Well, in the first place, they have a different operating system. They have iOS and the rest actually have Android. And they have provided a specific quality branding wherein anything that they have produced that has a logo of Apple actually translate into the realm of best quality products. And so that's the reason why Apple actually became one of the first companies to actually breach the 1 trillion market capitalization in all companies in the world. They are one of the most valuable companies in the world. It's because they have established a differentiation. They have the uniqueness among all other brands that is being delivered. So brand parity is a trend in the modern time, and so marketing communication experts must also develop ways in order to adjust into that particular trend. Next is emphasis in customer engagement. The purpose of this is in order to build loyalty. Marketers have to seek to engage customers with brand at every contact point. Customer engagement program often utilize digital and social media and have become part of the total integrated marketing approach. In fact, if you are purchasing products online, it would help a lot if you have customers who are actually reviewing your products. In fact, in my case, if I will purchase any product online, as I have been purchasing almost all of the things I need online, the trend during my purchase will be to look at reviews. And those reviews is an example of customer engagement by which customers will be able to air out what they feel about the product that they receive. And if the product that they receive did not at some point achieve what has been promised, and so you as the one selling the product must have the idea already of what are the things to do in order that your product at some point will be improved. And so customer engagement is a very important thing. How do you know that your delivery of services is on an excellent basis without even knowing what your customers are thinking about what you have done to them, the services that you have offered? And so that's the reason why we have customer engagement, the power of customer review at that particular point as an example. Thank you for watching. See you in the next lesson.